Thank you, man. I occasionally get the order wrong of taking the mask off and putting glasses on. I get it transposed and I got my mask tied up in my glasses, which happens to me all the time. I've just avoided another embarrassing moment here. I will do the same for you. So when you're speaking, fantastic. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, class. It is a real treat to be here. I want to give shout outs to some people over the course of my remarks, but this is one of the great school districts in our state. It's a combo between two communities. So first of all, a shout out to one of the mayors, Frank McGehee, is here. Frank, God bless you, buddy. Love you. Thank you for everything you do. The superintendent, I just said to Dr. Taylor I had to behave myself. The superintendent of schools for South Orange Maplewood is in the house, Dr. Ronald Taylor, Mr. Superintendent. It gets even better. Freeholder president from Essex County and a dear friend and advisor from day one, Brendan Gill's in the house. Brendan. And more on Mila J.C. in a minute, but the first person I sat with and talked about matters of education who was an elected official in the state of New Jersey was that woman right there, Assemblywoman Mila J.C. So Mila, bless you. So it is my distinct honor and pleasure this morning to announce my nomination of Dr. Angelica Allen-McMillan, the woman to my left, a resident of Montclair and the current executive county superintendent in Morris County, to serve as the next commissioner of the Department of Education. So let's stop there for a minute, Angelica. Big day for the home team. Now, before I put the spotlight on Angelica, and I will do that in a moment, I have to take a moment to acknowledge the tremendous leadership of this guy right here, Interim Commissioner of the Department of Education, Kevin Deemer. Kevin. He assumed the leadership of the department at an unprecedented time. You talk about battlefield promotions, and was tasked with getting our schools, our educators, our students, and our educational communities ready for the most unusual start of an academic year in our state's history. This was an enormous feat, but through his hard work and that of the entire Department of Education under him, our schools today are open, our educators are teaching, our kids are learning, and our communities are moving forward. And as Kevin, he's not going anywhere. We've just discussed this privately, and I'll say it publicly. As Kevin moves back to his prior role as Chief Financial Officer and Assistant Commissioner for the Division of Finance, he does so with my deepest thanks and the thanks of educational professionals across our entire state. Kevin, thank you again, buddy. So, for the past nearly 4 months, we have looked for the leader we need to carry our educational communities through the remainder of this pandemic and on to greater heights. We have looked for a leader whose commitment to our schools and our students would ensure we stay atop the nation as the home of the #1 and best public education system in the entire United States of America. We have found that leader in Dr. Angelica Allen-McMillan, who will assume the title of Acting Commissioner pending her confirmation by the State Senate. And Angelica, it says here your first day on the job will be tomorrow. No time like the present. When I sought the office of governor, I pledged that I would select a commissioner of education with firsthand experience in public education and in the classroom. I fulfilled that promise when I asked Dr. Lamont Repollet to serve, and he did an outstanding job, now as president of Keene University, and I maintain that promise today. First and foremost, Angelica is a product of New Jersey's public schools, a proud graduate of Frank H. Morrell High School in Irvington. But professionally, Angelica has lived New Jersey public education for more than 2 decades. And like so many of our educational professionals, she started her career elsewhere in the private sector only to answer the call of service to our communities our schools, and our kids. She began her career back in her hometown as a substitute before teaching middle school science in East Orange. But it was in the South Orange Maplewood School District, right here, in fact, at the Marshall School, to be precise. By the way, I have a relative who goes to this school. My grandniece, Evelyn Egan, is a student here, which I think is also kind of cool. This is where Angelica set foot on the path that would lead her to today, serving as principal of this school for 12 years. And her tenure here was notable for cultivating inquisitive young minds and energizing the school community. And that's where I want to come back to Mila. This is not just a matter of education. Your kids went here, Mila, and you and Angelica go way back. For the past 8 years since leaving this school, she has continued in administration and curriculum development. She's experienced in both urban and suburban districts. She has worked alongside educators and support professionals of all levels of experience. She has mentored fellow school administrators. She has seen what works and what does not work. And now I am asking her to bring her 2 decades of experience to bear for all schools and educational communities across our state. I'm incredibly excited to work alongside Angelica to advance an agenda that puts our students' health, advancement, and well-being first, and maintains our state's reputation and status as home to the nation's best public education system. With all that we continue to battle with COVID-19, I know Angelica will bring a steady hand, a cool head, and a strong heart to our fight. And I would just say that today, another day of over 1,000 cases, 114 right here in Essex County, and sadly we announced 2 fatalities from this county today. I know that Angelica will work in partnership with the State Board of Education and its board president, Kathy Goldenberg, to further empower our classroom leaders and students and help us successfully implement state education law and sound education policy for our school communities. I know she will work with our legislative colleagues, not just Mila, but also the likes of Senator Teresa Ruiz, another Essex County resident, Assemblywoman Pam Lampett, and the respective chairs in the Senate and Assembly Education Committees, and all of our legislative colleagues to advance smart measures that will lift every child in every community and ensure equal educational opportunities across district boundaries. And I know that she will work with superintendents and principals, educators, union leadership and members, local officials, and all stakeholders throughout our education system to move our schools ever forward. To her husband, Randy, who's with us today, and her children, 2 of whom are here, Faiza and Jada, thank you all for being here. It takes a family. This is a team sport. I know it is for you as it is for us. I also want to give Jason a shout out, who is currently a senior in high school, and he's in front of a screen doing his remote schoolwork. And I thank each of you for allowing Angelica to come on into our administration. I apologize in advance. There'll be so many long hours that I know will keep her away from you, and I appreciate your patience and forbearance. Your mom is not here, Lillian, but God bless her. She's in Union, where I just came from. Actually, I said to Angelica, I could have gone by and said hello on the way over here. I can only imagine the sense of pride that she has today, and I'm confident that Angelica will make her even more proud in this role. And I also thank your mom and your late dad for moving to New Jersey all those years ago. And I know your dad, speaking of him, James, is looking down and beaming with pride as well. To your sister Alicia and to all your relatives who are also with us today, and your friends, your mentors, and former colleagues, I thank each of you for helping mold Angelica into the outstanding educational leader she is today, and I trust you'll continue to provide advice and counsel in the times to come. As acting commissioner, as her nomination moves to the Senate Judiciary Committee, I know Angelica will hit the ground running. Our schools and our students deserve nothing less. And I know she will give it her all, just as she has throughout her career. With that, it is now my great honor to introduce the Acting Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Education, Dr. Angelica Allen-McMillan.
Deep breath. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning, yes. Thank you, Governor Murphy, for your impassioned introduction and for the extraordinary honor of nominating me to serve as the next Commissioner of the Department of Education for the great state of New Jersey. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Oliver, and thank you to the governor's staff for your support. I very much look forward to working with Senate President Sweeney as part of my confirmation process and to working with both the Senate President and Speaker Coughlin in my new role. In addition, I look forward to working closely with Senate Education Chair Teresa Ruiz, Assembly Education Chair Pam Lampett, and State Board of Education President Kathy Goldenberg. Like so many in our society, I believe that our children are our most precious resource. Participating in the education of students over the past 25 years has prepared me for this awesome responsibility. I stand here today because my parents believed in a stronger and fairer New Jersey. They moved to New Jersey from Washington, D.C. to pursue new career opportunities. As a result, I am a proud product of a New Jersey public school system. After graduating from Frank H. Morrell High School in Irvington, I was off to Cornell University. Upon graduation, I entered corporate America and soon realized that this experience was not as rewarding as I hoped. A dear friend encouraged me to consider teaching as he found immense pleasure and a sense of personal fulfillment in his career choice. Not long after that conversation, I decided to make a career change and began substitute teaching in Essex County. Yes, I was immediately hooked and wanted to have my own classroom. After choosing to work in East Orange Public Schools as a middle school science teacher, I was afforded the opportunity to write curricula for a new marine science program that I taught the following year. My students and I set sail on a schooner on the Delaware River, examined specimens and water samples, and identified connections between land and sea mammals that could improve our global environment. In the community of educators who were my peers, I found amazing mentors and critical friends who served as thought partners on how best to have students make their own meaning from the lessons we taught. I love learning as much as I love teaching. Obtaining my master's and a doctorate in education, leadership, management, and policy at Seton Hall University allowed me to venture into school administration. I am proud to have served as the first school administrator at Marion P. Thomas Charter School, where I utilized constructivism as our learning theory. Teachers embedded students' interest into their lessons, and their design of hands-on activities allowed students to use information they already knew to acquire more knowledge. In sum, learning was a social activity for the students. My career continued here as principal of Marshall School in the South Orange Maplewood School District. It was a privilege for me to co-create a learning environment with teachers and students that not only transformed the physical plant, but shifted the learning framework with an expansion of the co-teaching models of instruction. Moreover, we were the recipient of philanthropic contributions and grant awards. The motto, "If it is to be, it is up to me," hung above the stage around the corner in the multipurpose room and reminded us of our individual and collective abilities. My time at Marshall School drew to an end when I decided to return to Irvington Township to serve as the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. Rebuilding the Curriculum and Instruction Department was a joy for me. Yes, student achievement increased, but more importantly, I witnessed firsthand the shift in our scholars from learning to read to reading to learn. Then my family needed me to assume a new role, and I answered the call. I took a hiatus from my career to assist my father, who was battling leukemia for a second time. His battle was valiant, but he succumbed to the disease in less than a year. Upon my return to my beloved profession, I would join the Newark Public Schools, the largest school district in our state, as the Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education. I joined a cadre of motivated educators who utilize a variety of metrics to increase the high school graduation rate as well as the number of college acceptances. An opportunity to work for the New Jersey Department of Education as the Interim Executive County Superintendent serving Morris County presented itself, and I leapt at the opportunity to join an organization that desires to strengthen teaching, leading, and learning in order to increase educational equity for all of New Jersey's 1.4 million students. As a parent of 3, I understand the challenges of reviewing homework and working on projects and college applications with my own children when the assistance is unwanted. As a teacher, I understood the adjustments that were needed every time a new student was added to my class roster. And as a principal, I experienced the joy in completing a master schedule, only to learn that I needed to add another section and a new teacher in July. These days, this all seems easy given the current challenges that we face. Teachers, staff, school and district level administrators, I want to acknowledge your critical contributions to our overall response to this pandemic and the challenges that you continue to face while working daily with and for our students. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These words alone do not convey the profound appreciation that I have for you. Our external stakeholders are not forgotten. Rather, they are immensely valued for their willingness to collaborate and support novel solutions to unprecedented challenges. We have been knocked down and will continue to stumble on occasion as we work to stand tall in our fight against COVID-19. Let me take a moment to thank our Interim Commissioner, Kevin Deemer, for his leadership during one of the most challenging times in history. As we continue to close the digital divide, as well as mitigate learning losses as much as possible, I ask you to remember that this is not as formidable as our resolve, and definitely not indomitable when challenged by our effort. I will utilize the lessons learned through my 25-year career in public education to lead a department that is quick to listen, precise in our execution, and ready to advance access to a high-quality education for all. As we will soon embark upon a new decade in the 21st century, I look forward to continuing to work with my talented colleagues at the department in my new role as acting commissioner. In closing, I would like to thank my family, my husband Randy, our daughters Faiza and Jada, who are here today, and as the governor stated, yes, our son Jason, who is in front of a screen at this very moment as a senior at Montclair High School. I'd like to thank my parents, Lillian and James Allen, my sister Alicia Allen, and all of the individuals who have contributed in some way to my ability to stand here today. Once again, thank you, Governor Murphy, for this incredible opportunity. I am so very honored to serve the great state of New Jersey as its acting Commissioner of Education. Absolutely.
Just you and me?
Yes.
Great job.
Thank you.
God bless you and give them heck.
Will do.
These are not normal times.
No.
Honest to God, I'm just
No.
going to say thanks
Okay,
here.
may
Is that
I
right?
just take this?
Absolutely.
Yes, of course.
Let's hear one more time for Angelica. Congratulations. Again, Frank McGehee, thank you for schlepping all the way to South Orange and your leadership. Superintendent Taylor, bless you, and God bless you, Doctor. Brendan, thank you. Soon to be Commissioner. Assemblywoman, thank you for everything. Pretty cool to have a personal connection here. Kevin, again, the good news is you're not going anywhere, but you've done a remarkable job. And Angelica, to you and Randy and your daughters and son, please give him my best, as well as your mom, to your sister and your other family members and support group and colleagues who are with you today. It takes a village, and you know that. It's a team sport. And this is an exciting day for New Jersey. It's an exciting day for our education system, our kids, our educators, administrators, anybody who cares about education, anybody who cares about New Jersey. Today's a great one for the home team. God bless you all. Thank you. Great job. See you around. There you go.